Father's Day is right around the corner, and if you're trying to find a last-minute gift for Dad and you don't want to buy him a tie or a pair of socks that are just going to get lost or get holes in them, then I've got some gift ideas for you. As a dad myself, this is definitely the type of thing that I would want to receive, and it's something that your dad could use for years, actually. So if you're looking for a good gift, we're going to review 3 different types of safety razors today, which are really a timeless piece of bathroom equipment that guys will hold on to for their whole lives. Now, why should you consider a safety razor? Well, if Dad shaves every day or every other day, whatever it is, you're going to have less plastic waste by using a safety razor compared to a disposable razor or even a reusable handle with those plastic cartridges. There's a lot less plastic waste when you use a safety razor. And second, if somebody is prone to shaving bumps or ingrown hairs, you'll typically get less of that when shaving with a single blade, which is what most safety razors are. When you have those multiple blade cartridges, they cut so close together, they lift the hairs up and cut them to the point where they fall below the skin, and so that hair can then become ingrown, or it can pierce out the side of the hair follicle and just cause a lot of irritation and inflammation. But when you shave with a single blade, you typically are not going to get that because it's not lifting the hairs in rapid succession with multiple blades. So I reviewed 3 different safety razors, and it's important to know that I didn't go out and purchase any of these. They were all sent to me by the company, and I want to give you my honest opinion on which one that I would purchase after using all of them. Although these razors were gifted to me, this is not a sponsored video. There may be affiliate links down in the video description. If you do choose to go purchase one through my links, I would appreciate it. The first safety razor we're going to look at is from Goodline. Now, Goodline produces a very traditional looking safety razor. This is the kind of razor that I saw sitting on my grandfather's counter when I was a child and I would go visit their house. And with a traditional safety razor, it takes a little getting used to because you have to angle the blade properly. But let's check out my experience shaving with the Goodline razor and I'll give you my thoughts. So first up, we're going to use the Goodline razor. This is the Goodline razor. This is a CVS brand and it is a traditional looking safety razor. So this is the kind of thing that I saw on my grandpa's countertop when I was young and I would visit their house. So the way that a safety razor works is that you can twist here on the bottom. And this opens up the platform and that gives us the place where we put the razor blade in. From Goodline, they send a little canister here of razors and we just slide this out very carefully, remove it. And then when you're done, it does have a place on the back where you can put the razor blade back into after you've used it enough. Once you have the blade, it's universal. It doesn't matter which way you put it on. It just sits right on the top of the razor, slides right down. So now it's in there and we just close the razor up. And the platform lifts while the doors close and the razor blade is securely in the razor and it's ready to use. So I'm going to wash my face and then we're going to apply some shaving cream and we're going to give it a test. Face is all clean now. Don't need to dry off too much because we're going to put on the shaving cream and give it a shave. This is a new type of shaving butter that I'm trying. It is from a major brand, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Rather than a shaving cream that lathers up, so that'll be interesting for me to try as well. All right, so I've got my razor. We're going to wet it, warm it up just a little bit, and give this a try. We're going to hold that at an angle, and after just a few strokes, we're going to rinse it and come back to the face. Initially, that feels really good. It's not pulling or tugging on the hairs. One thing I'm noticing is that this handle is a little bit slick. As the razor gets wet, it's a little bit harder to hold on to. So that pretty much does it. It was a better shave than I anticipated that it would be. The handle is a little bit slippery when wet. A little bit of pulling on my neck, not too bad overall, and a little bit of pulling when I was doing the mustache area, but overall better than I thought that this razor would be. So that is it. That is the razor from Goodline. Overall, I would recommend it, but we've got 2 more to compare it to. Let's check those out. So that was the Goodline Razor. It does take a little getting used to. It felt good in the hand. It looks good on the countertop, but I did find that it was a little bit more slippery when I was using it while wet. And so it may not be my first pick, but if you want that traditional look, it's, you know, nothing is going to be better than that as far as a traditional look. So they all look about the same when you get into that aesthetic. The next one that I used was from One Blade, and I've had this one for a couple of years now, and I love the look of it. It's probably one of the most attractive razors that I've ever seen, and as a safety razor, it has some unique features like a pivoting head. So we're going to check out all those features, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay, the second razor that we're going to be testing out comes from One Blade. I don't know if you can read that or not, but One Blade sent this to me, and I've used it quite a bit since I received it. I do love it quite a bit. It is not your traditional safety razor, but it still falls into that category of being a safety razor. Mine came in this really nice leather box. It's hand stitched, it looks like. So when you open it up, it's got some protecting foam in there. And then I got the gold one, which is absolutely beautiful. It looks great. And a couple things about the One Blade. This is like a one-piece all-metal handle. It does have a pivoting head, and it's got room for one blade right there on the top. Thus the name, One Blade. And we talked a little bit about why one blade is, you know, advantageous if you're prone to shaving bumps and things like that. The other thing that I really like about the One Blade is that it does come with this really nice looking stand that matches the razor. So this sits on your bathroom counter, and it just sits on there in a nice little display. Looks really good, very high quality, has a good weight to it in the hand. So this, you know, just by the look and the feel of it would make a great gift. One Blade does use their own types of blades. They are still a single safety razor, but just a little bit different look than your traditional safety razor. Don't know if you can buy these elsewhere or if they are a proprietary design, but it's a little longer than a one-sided safety razor, and it's not a double-sided. This one does not have a razor on it. And rather than a mechanism that you unscrew, this actually just slides right in the back. So see if we can organize this. So you go right in the top and you just push it in and you'll hear it click, and then it's ready to go. And you've got a pivoting head, a single razor right there. So we're going to give this a try. While I get ready, I'm going to put it back on the display case, and they do have some other products that they sent with it. So the first thing is I'm just going to wash my face before we get going. And they do have a cleanser. I don't have that. I ran out of it. So I'm just going to use a Jordan Samuel cream cleanser. I like Jordan Samuel products. They're very nice. And Jordan's a friend of mine. Washing is going to help remove dirt, oil, and impurities off of your skin, potentially bacteria that could cause an infection if you get a shaving cut, which I often do. Okay, now that my face is clean, it's time to shave. And One Blade does have a really nice shaving cream. So this shaving cream has lavender in it, so if you're sensitive to fragrance, you may not be able to use it. It does have some essential oils in there. That's the lavender. And they do also come with this nice, you know, traditional style beaver brush. I don't know if this is made from beaver or not, but, you know, kind of gives you that old school feel where you can take this, dip it in the shaving cream, kind of whip it up, and put a nice lather on your face. Okay, we got it on there. So because this has the pivoting head, it gives you a little bit more of a feel of a traditional, like, disposable razor with that pivoting head and just with the way that you hold it, but it is a true safety razor with a single blade that's reusable but disposable. You're just going to change the blade out over time. I'm going to wet it with a little bit of warm water, and we're going to start and we're going to go with the grain just like before. This is a little bit easier to use than the previous razor, which didn't have that pivoting head. This does feel like it gives me a little more flexibility around the neck, and we'll see how it does up around the lip and the nose. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me. I did get a couple small cuts on my neck, which I almost always do, and a little one here around the mouth where I've had some small pimples forming, so nothing like crazy. It didn't tear me up. I do feel like it was more gentle on my neck than the Goodline Razor. That one left my neck a little bit more irritated, and so we're going to see how this does over the next few minutes, but initially it does feel a little better. So the one blade razor really felt great in the hand. It was not hard to hold on to even when it was wet. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the display that it has when it sits there on the countertop. Highly recommend the one blade razor. The only downside potentially is I feel like the blade does catch a little bit more, and that may just be a function of the blades that came with the razor. Maybe switching out to a different brand of razor blade would be better. I haven't quite figured out why it does seem to pull on my hairs a little bit more than like the Goodline razor, for example. I don't necessarily love the way that it just slides in and snaps in. I feel like that there is a little bit of play in the razor blade, and that tiny, tiny bit of motion may be where that snagging comes from. But most of the time I don't have any problem shaving with it. It just becomes a little bit more of a problem when I'm down on my neck. And that brings us to our third brand. We're going to look at razors from Leaf Shave. Yes, I said razors because there's actually two models that they sent to me that I want to review. So we're going to shave one half of the face with the Leaf razor and one half of the face with the Twig razor, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. And in the final installment of our men's razor series, we are looking at two razors actually from the same company. These are from Leaf Shave, and we have the Leaf razor and one that they call the Twig. These are modified safety razors as well, and I've been liking them quite a bit. I'm going to shave one half of my face with each razor, and we'll talk about the features that are unique to each one. First, we're going to start with the Leaf razor. This is a little bit different safety razor than we're used to. It does have a metal handle, and it uses the same type of safety blades that we looked at in the first one with Goodline, but this can actually accommodate 3 blades. Now I know that I talk a lot about using only one blade when shaving if you're prone to shaving bumps or irritation, but they did things a little bit different here. So I'm going to show you how we load the blades and why it's just a little bit different. So instead of a twist mechanism there, it's on the back of the razor, and it opens up, and then that flips up, and you have different platforms for all 3 razors. It's a little dirty because I have been using it. So we're going to load the razors on. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Leaf does make their own razors, and they're not terribly expensive. The razors are a little bit more on the pricey side. I think the Twig is like $59 and the Leaf is like $89. So not awful for a razor that you're going to be able to use forever, essentially. So they sell their own razors. So we're just going to pull 3 of them out for this particular blade. So we're going to put the first razor blade on. You can see I've got the first 2 platforms flipped up there, and then we're going to take the razor, and it just sets right on there. There's a couple little grooves that fit into the razor blade itself to make sure that you're in alignment. And that's it, very simple. Then we flip down 1 platform, and we're ready for another blade. So now we're going to put the next razor on, and it just kind of pops right into place. We've got 2 blades on. We'll fold down that platform now and put on 1 more blade. So now all 3 blades are on there. We just close the top, and then we screw it together to hold them all in securely right there on the back. And then you can see that this does have a pivoting head, and we've got 3 razor blades. So you're going to need to use fewer passes with something like this. And the reason that it's different than a disposable multi-blade razor that you pick up over the counter is that these 3 blades are spaced a little bit further apart than the ones that you get on a disposable over-the-counter razor. And that's important because if you're prone to shaving bumps or irritation, when those razor blades are so close, they lift the hairs and cut them, and then immediately you've got another blade right there to cut even lower, and they can start to fall below the skin. Where these are spaced out, it just gives you a more efficient shave because it's not lifting and then cutting. You're getting 3 different passes with a single blade, essentially, is what it feels like. This feels great. It's metal. It is very aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, and it does come with a nice little stand carrying case. So a nice little stand that you can put on your counter, and it just sits in there so it looks good on the counter. It does come with a travel case as well. So if you want to load your blades up and take it, you can just set it right in there. Fold it up, and it's ready to travel with you. That one's a little bigger, so when I travel, I usually take the Twig, and I'm going to show you how we load that one now. Now the Twig is a little bit more similar to a typical safety razor. It does only have one side, however, and this does not have a pivoting head the way that the one blade does or the way that the leaf razor does. And this, we just turn on the base, and it pops the top open, turns it out of the way, and now we can load a blade into there. The platform here is very similar to the other one. We just slide the blade right in, and it's got those little grooves that hold the blade into place, just like that. We close it up. And it's all in there even, and it's ready for a good shave. The Twig razor also comes with a carrying case, and it's a little bit more compact, a little smaller. It just sits right in there, protects the blade, and you're ready to go. So this is what I travel with if I'm not taking my electric razor, and it's a pretty good size, small form factor. So now we're going to apply the shaving cream, and I'm going to demonstrate shaving with these two razors. So I'm going to start with the Twig razor of the two. This is the one without a pivoting head, and it is a true single blade safety razor. It's just at a little bit of an angle, which I think will make it better than the Goodline razor, just for ergonomics and the way that it sits. Most of us guys are used to shaving with something that has a little bit of that angle on there. So hopefully that will make it a little easier, but we're going to start with the Twig. I'm going to wet the blade. Here we go. That slides very smooth over the skin. The blade is very sharp. Okay, so that is the first side. I really like the way that that feels both in the hand and on the skin. No tugging or pulling on the hairs, no pain with that. And my neck always, like I said, always gets a little bit. I think I got tiny little cut there, maybe a little one there, but overall a really good shave. I'm happy with that. We're going to move on to the leaf. So again, this one is bigger, 3 blades and a pivoting head. We're going to wet it and go for this side. Okay, so those are the two razors from Leaf Shave. They call them the Leaf and the Twig, and they shaved really well. I like them a lot. Just a little bit of irritation on the neck, but I've gotten that with every razor that I've tried. The Twig was really smooth, actually. I liked the feeling of just the one blade. I felt like I had a lot of control. I felt no tugging, no pulling. I didn't feel any tugging or pulling with the Leaf razor as well, but it just was a little bit more aggressive, it felt like, with the 3 blades, but overall still very smooth and no cuts on the cheek or anything like that. So I think those are both great razors. So let's sit down and kind of talk about the pros and the cons of each of the 3 razor blades that we tried, and I'll give you my opinion on which one you should buy for Father's Day if you're looking for a gift. So those razors from Leaf Shave were really good looking razors. I love the color on them, and they have a really nice display to sit on the countertop. Of course, we have the Twig razor, which is a more traditional type of safety razor. It does not have a pivoting head, but it is an angled head, which makes it a little bit unique. It felt great when I was shaving with that, and it's got a nice small form factor. It's easy to hold on to. It's not slippery when wet. And then you have the Leaf, their premier, their flagship razor, which is obviously unique as a safety razor because it does have multiple blades, but they're spaced a little bit further apart, and that makes it less likely to cause ingrown hairs and shaving bumps. So now the moment of truth. If I was going to go out and buy one of these razors for myself, or I was going to gift it for somebody, which one would I buy? First, you have the Goodline Razor, which is a really traditional looking razor, and it does a great job. There's no, significant upgrades to it. It's just great functioning safety razor. Then you have the one blade, which aesthetically may be the best among the group. It looks great, it feels great in the hand, it's got a nice weight to it, and it's easy to change out the blades. Then of course there's the Leaf Shave brand, and they have the two different models. Now when I look back at having a shave with all of these different razors, honestly the one that felt the best on my skin was the Twig razor. The Twig was really easy to use at that angled head. I didn't have to play around with the angle that I held it at, and I just felt like it did a great job of cutting the hairs, and it didn't pull or snag or stretch my skin in any way. And so I didn't get any shaving bumps from it. It even worked pretty well down on my neck. So it was easy to use. It's not the most expensive among the bunch, but I do think it looks good. It's going to function well for a long time, and I would highly recommend it. But you may have a different preference. Let me know which one you guys thought looked the best. Obviously, everybody's going to have a little bit different shaving experience between the different razors, so my experience may not translate into somebody else's experience. Overall, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these razors, but if you want to purchase them, you can follow the links down in the video description. If you guys found this helpful and you would like to see more product reviews, let me know in the comments and share this video with somebody else who might be looking for a good Father's Day gift. I'll see you on the next video.